All right, we're back on recording. All right, so now share your screen and go to your email.
Okay, it's slow. You can. Okay, there I am.
All right, click on that message. And this is how, when you send this out, the folks that you send it to would get it in their, when they're in their mailbox, just like that. And then they would click on that link. And let's see what happens. Look at there, best practice for teacher empowerment in school. Teacher has input, so go ahead and take the survey right quick, Dr. Stedman. And then hit the continue arrow down at the bottom. There you go. Thank you for your time. All right.
So I passed the test.
Yep, you can stop your share now. And I'll share my screen. All right, so I simply go back to my projects. And I've got one response to my survey. Now, you noticed I put no first, and yes, because you want the higher scoring one to be the positive. So you can see I've got his, and so it'll tell me how many of each of these I've got, and it'll even graph them for me. So you can see how many I've got. And that's simply the way, and so that's what I'm talking about. It'll do your analytics, it'll even do your, it'll do your mean, your mode, your standard deviation, it'll do all those things for you automatically. We're not going to use a lot of those functions. You'll use them a little bit more, a little bit later in your program. When you get to the CAP, you'll be doing some more things with it then. But this is a simple way to do a validated survey that looks professional. There's no question that it was an appropriate survey. You have your information archived. If you get challenged on, I don't believe all these people said that, we can pull up the results just like I just did. Doesn't have anybody's name tied to it. And we can say, you know, we had that to happen before too. I don't believe they said that. I think I think you've misreported. You've misrepresented the data. Okay, here it is.
Dr. Lamb, can they create visual graphics from it? Because you know, I thought I saw where they could do that.
Oh yeah, we can do all kinds of things with it once we get it. But we know, what our percentages are, and we know what our numbers are. We can do all kind of analytics. But the beauty of this is that we've got it all documented. It looks professional. We can run analytics on it. We can display it. We do bar graphs that are in red for Gardner Webb. Looks very nice and professional. But again, nobody can say it was an inappropriate survey. They shouldn't have sent that. We don't know, or we think that they didn't report it correctly. It's not that bad. It ought to have been better than that. Whatever that you get. Now, 99% of you will never hear any of those complaints. Everything will be good. It's that one or two every semester that we've had to take this extraordinary measure of doing this, because we get a claim every semester or two that somebody's been inappropriate with the survey, or we don't believe their results, or they haven't handled the data correctly, that people know who answered what. Well, this way you can't know what answered what, who answered what. There is no way that you can give away anybody's identity. Everybody is completely anonymous doing it this way. Everything's on the up and up. Everything is logged. It's locked in for. I have a copy for posterity. That won't stop people from maybe saying something's inappropriate, but we have proof that it's not. When you get to your doctoral studies, this is the standard that you have to use. And when you build up surveys in your doc program, they have to be validated, just like you saw me. Mine got an expert score, simply it was easy. But they're a lot more involved in that. But we want you to start using this. It will alleviate, again, only one of you probably or two will ever have a headache anywhere in the program with this. But when that time comes, this protects us and protects you. If somebody
Dr. Lamb,
says, I don't
I
believe
would
it.
highly advise you to spend some time playing with this
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
And
You
then,
can sandbox this thing all you want. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free with
Right.
your enrollment at Gardner Webb. This is quite an expensive program too, by the way. This alone is worth big money.
and you and your Zoom team, if y'all decide, you can get together and you can all play with it together. And I think, 3 or 4 people together, you'll discover things and you'll learn a lot from each other.
You will. Read my notes. Read the notes. Make sure that you follow them. And you can collaborate your surveys to me. I'll publish them, publish them, send them back, and you can distribute them to one another. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, this is a great professional tool to have. Even if you're not going into the doc program, if you're going to be a school administrator, it's a wonderful way to survey your staff and do different kinds of surveys with them. This is something that you can use the rest of your professional career. This is a high dollar deal here. My node cost $7,500 to get this thing, just for the node that I use. Of course, I do about all the doc students at in the College of Ed at Gardner Webb, but my license costs $7,500. This is not cheap.
Dr. Lamb, also, I don't know if Dr. Revis and Dr. Hamilton may not have had a chance to do it yet, but you will find this in Blackboard. The link to Dr. Lamb's files is in Blackboard under the App So Helpful Hints and Documents under the App tab, and you'll find it under week 3 also.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I sent all of them. I blind copied all of them a link to my Qualtrics folder that has some different Qualtrics. But the big thing is read those notes. Read those Qualtrics notes that tell you how to do this. And again, Dr. Revis asked the most important question tonight. Why do you do it in Word? Well, if you don't, it'll make a mess. And remember, there is no editing function inside of Qualtrics. You can't, it doesn't spell check, it doesn't do grammar, it doesn't do any of those things. When we're doing little simple ones like tonight, it's not too bad. But when you're doing quite long and involved ones, you understand why you want to do it in Word. But that is an introduction to Qualtrics. It is one of the things that you will not have to use right away. So don't stress about this. It's not something you have to use right away. But it is in the modern era. of school administration, you need to get familiar with using a product or a tool like this. And I'm going to kind of, I'm completely blindsiding her. Of course, I'm prone to do that, but I see our time is, I've got about 3 minutes left, and I've reserved this time for Dr. Robin Hamilton. Now, Dr. Hamilton is just a wonderful principal, and so is Dr. Crawford. This is not a comparative basis, but I know specifically because we've talked about it. Dr. Hamilton is one of those people, and Dr. Crawford is too, that like a lot of staff input. And so to close us out tonight, I'd like for Dr. Robin Hamilton to talk about some of the ways that she queries her staff as a sitting principal. So this is not just an academic tool. This is a professional tool. So Dr. Hamilton, I'll let you close us out tonight.
Well, I just cannot thank you enough for this unexpected opportunity. Thank you for that. So I will have to tell you that I am in a very unique situation. As I told Dr. Lamb yesterday on the phone, we had a principals meeting that lasted from 7:30 actually in the morning till 4 o'clock. And they asked everyone who has been in the district or in their position for a year or less to please stand. 3/4 or more of the room stood. They asked for those who had been in their position, current position, for 15 years or more to stand. I was the only person that stood. So please understand that I am in a unique position where I have a lot of staff and professional and personal trust and respect. And so that adds to this. But I have never used cooperative with my staff, I will tell you that. But I often will use electronic survey tools for anything. Who are you voting for your school improvement team chair representative? Who are you voting for your grade level? Here, our survey for A to Z reading, our contract for A to Z reading has come up. Do we need this again? Just any and everything before I spend a dime, before I make any decision, I will send out some kind of an electronic survey and say, tell me, what do you think? And if you can't answer on this survey, stop by my office or stop me by when I come to your room. It is the utmost importance that you are always getting this feedback from your staff and understanding where they are and how they feel and what they are thinking. And when you build that trust and that relationship with them, and they know that you are listening to them, and they are and they know that you're doing what they are, the input that they're giving you, and you're doing that. And they'll also come to you and say other things like today with me, hey, Robin, did you know that our librarian left? Well, yeah, I knew our librarian left. But did you know that nobody's really watching after the carts, and nobody's really making sure they're plugged up? Nobody's really making sure that they're all getting returned. No, I didn't know that part, but thanks for letting me know. I'm on that now. So this is why this constant communication, this survey, and getting this input and this feedback from your staff is so important, because it's really, you might initially as a new principal take that personally. It's really not personal. It's really understanding what's really going on in your building, because no way you can know if you don't have some kind of validated tool to be able to get that information from your staff, so that you really know what's going on. You really can then be a responsive servant leader to what is the needs that are there. Is that what you were looking for, Dr. Lamb?
That's
Sorry.
exactly it. Dr. Crawford, you have anything to add? Thank you.
So I'm in a unique position where I am, just 2 months into a brand new school. And so my staff is a blank slate to me, and I'm a blank slate to them. My only advantage right now is this is not my first rodeo. And 8 weeks in, I pretty much determined I've got some work ahead of me. And I'm okay with that, but I'm walking that line between being directive, because last year I had an 8th grade math percentage of 6.7%. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I'm in a position where I have to be directive, and yet at the same time, I've got to build my community. And so part of me, as I said to my area superintendent, when she asked me how I was doing yesterday at principal's meeting, I said, I still feel like I'm walking in somebody else's pumps. I don't like the master schedule. I didn't have any input into it, but I'm going to have to live with it. I have a staff that doesn't know me. I don't know them. And so there's that going on. And so in trying to figure out how I need to move this school off where it is, I need to walk that line between telling folks what I need to get done versus make sure that I give them that input so that they know that I do value their time, for the ones that have been there a while, their professionalism, their institutional knowledge is critical to me. And so making sure that I get that input is something that's critical to me. So I'm going to start with something small. For the first time, I think in my career, I actually have a field trip budget. And so, hey guys, I got $23,000 sitting over here in the field trip budget. What do you want to do with it? And I think getting that input and beginning to generate that conversations is also critical. And again, I also tell folks, look, you can ask me anything all day. The worst I can say is no. And so I need you to recognize that sometimes no is an answer. Doesn't mean I don't like you, just means I can't for whatever reason. If I can explain it to you, I will. So like I said, I'm in a unique position of having to be a little more directive than I think I want to be. But at the same time, I'm part of what I also have to do is build not only a community, but build my community around my needs for the school and what I want for staff and kids to be doing.
Exactly. And so it's not, if you think for just a minute as we kind of close out here just tonight, it's not incidental or accidental that when we share these surveys, we don't call it shared, we call it collaborate. Because that's what we're looking for. The whole notion of Qualtrics and to do this is that we can collaborate more as leaders with our followers, because the first tenet of leadership is followership. If nobody's following you, you're not leading. And so the whole notion of Qualtrics is, yes, it is an academic, it is a research tool, but it is also a way for you to collaborate and have more input and show that servant leadership piece to your faculty, that their input, that they are valued. And so now is a good time to get in the habit of doing that you can put these surveys together. Ask people, don't just assume. Be a little more intentional in that collaborative mode with your followers. Now's the time to learn that as you start this program. Now, both of them gave you better answers than how I use Qualtrics most of the time. Other than, as you can see, I've got hundreds of doctoral students that I do their methodology with all the time. Most of the surveys I send out are for the biscuit order on Saturday and Sunday morning with my doc students. We have weekend classes with them, and so I get their biscuit order. But even that's important to them. So there's a lot of ways that you can use this. Don't be intimidated. You can't get it wrong. It's fun. You can't send one out without me fixing it for you, so you can't, accidentally insult or embarrass somebody. But it's a good thing to have. We're going to meet next week, and we'll finalize our technology piece with TaskStream. You'll have your accounts by then. I'll have you in your DRFs, and we'll go through and we'll set up your competency folio, and my technology piece will be done. So again, I thank you for being with us tonight. I'll get the recording back to your instructors and coaches later on tonight after I get it processed and uploaded, and I will see you all next Thursday. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for choosing Garden Web.
Good night.
Good night.